And on this Wednesday, June 10th, 2026 edition of Newsmakers, thousands of Southern Baptists have voted overwhelmingly to advance a formal ban on churches with women pastors in the nation's largest conservative evangelical denomination. The vote at their annual meeting sent a clear message that men alone should preach to congregations. They easily exceeded the two-thirds majority required to amend the Southern Baptist Convention's constitution. The ban will require a similar vote at next year's annual meeting to gain final approval. The amendment would tighten existing restrictions in the Southern Baptist Convention, which already has a faith statement opposing women pastors. Its sponsor, Southern Baptist Theological Seminary President Albert Mohler, characterized the amendment as addressing a defining issue, saying, quote, "There's a great line that divides liberal and biblical evangelicalism, and you can see it on this very issue. The trajectory of liberal denominations is clear." Yesterday, delegates elected Florida pastor Willie Rice to be its next president. He won 58% of the votes over South Carolina pastor Josh Powell. Rice, senior pastor of Calvary Church in Clearwater, Florida, drew support from advocacy groups such as the Center for Baptist Leadership, which have argued SBC leadership has gone woke on issues ranging from race to gender to immigration. Catholic bishops from across the U.S. come together tomorrow to consecrate the country to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The event marks the 250th anniversary of the United States and is part of the Bishops' Spring Assembly in Orlando, Florida. The mainstream, centuries-old Catholic devotion focuses on Jesus' sacrificial love for humanity. In some instances, the consecration has political overtones. Archbishop Alexander Sample of Portland says the consecration aims to promote service to God, country, and the needy. This is the first time U.S. Catholic leaders have held such a service, though other countries have done so since 1874. A man has been sentenced to life in prison for the 2022 murders of a Louisiana Catholic priest and parish worker. Court documents show Antonio Tyson received 2 consecutive life sentences and an additional 40-year sentence after pleading guilty to killing Father Otis Young and Ruth Pratts. Tyson also agreed to waive future appeals and will be housed under conditions similar to death row inmates. Authorities initially considered seeking the death penalty but cited a traumatic brain injury and childhood IQ testing that could have complicated an appeal. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall is issuing cease and desist letters to 6 companies that are advertising illegal abortion-inducing drugs. Marshall says companies that are exploiting Alabamians for profit will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The Cleveland Clinic is agreeing to provide $2 million in detransitioning care to settle a dispute with the Department of Justice. Under the newly announced deal, the Cleveland Clinic will offer detransition services to all patients regardless of their ability to pay. According to a copy of the settlement, services include medical care for hormonal balancing, surgical revision and reconstruction, fertility restoration, psychological support, and insurance coordination. Cleveland Clinic also pledged a 20-year commitment to not perform or offer so-called gender-affirming care for minors. It marks the second major health system to cut a deal with the Trump administration. And that's Newsmakers for this Wednesday, June 10th, 2026 edition. I'm Keith Black.